Now, you guys may notice in this video, I actually have a bit of a cold coming on, so I might sound a little bit congested in this video, but that's kind of fitting for a video about RiceGum, considering that's his natural delivery. So, welcome back to another video analysing a YouTube rapper, and today we'll be talking about RiceGum, the man who flexes so hard it's surprising he only has 2 grams of muscle mass. Now, I know what you're thinking looking at the title. The answer is obviously no. And yeah, it pretty much is, but this video is more about looking at where his music succeeds and where his music fails. So at this point in time, RiceGum has 5 songs on Apple Music, so what I've decided to do, how I'm going to lay this video out, is I'm going to listen to each one and give my detailed thoughts about every one of his songs. And now I'm also going to have a little bit of help in this video from my twin, CDTV the G. He will be reacting to the songs for a little bit before I start critiquing them, so you know, go help him out, subscribe to his channel, he does his reactions there, he looks just like me, so I'm sure if you guys like me, you'll like him. With that being said guys, this is CDTVProductions, and is RiceGum a bad rapper? Let's talk about it.
I can tell that you came with a Disney flow, ayy. Ain't nobody ever heard about your Disney show, ayy. I said we Gucci like the shirts with the snakes on.
Nice line there.
Logan, that will be your last hint like an 8-ball.
Wrong call, yeah, it's Jake, like from State Farm. Get girls, but the hooker said you paid for it. Me and Rice in a house with like 8 floors. Ride your brother's nuts, you're a squirrel for his acorn. Never cheated now, never cheated now. Got a babe from your brother now, and he's a better kisser now.
So, this is the first YouTube rap song to go platinum. I guess the bar is pretty low. Now, no disrespect, like when I'm saying this, I genuinely mean it. That is legitimately an achievement. I just don't understand why it's this song in particular that is Rice's most played song. This video isn't about Alyssa Violet, as you know, so I'm not gonna talk about her part on this song for too long, but oh my god, it is fucking grating to listen to. Like, before they recorded this song, could someone not have taken a little bit of time to teach her how to deliver rap vocals properly? Her voice is so like thin and shrill, and it just cuts right through me. That's pretty much all I've got to say for her contribution to the song. It's absolutely horrendous. Now let's move on to what I have to say about RiceGum on this track. So he starts this song off with the least confident and most awkward sounding A flow I've ever heard. Like, you know, you kind of have to put some force behind your A's. It's kind of embarrassing to listen to.
I can tell that you came with a Disney flow, ayy. Ain't nobody ever heard about your Disney show, ayy.
I also noticed that it would probably help if he punched in his lyrics a bit more. Punching in, if you don't know, is basically when you stop the recording of a line and start a new one, so you can make each line sound more powerful or catch your breath, and the mixing should make it all sound like it's recorded in one take. Rice should probably do that more. Like, I know he punches in a fair amount on these verses, but he should do it a bit more than he does, because listen to how he kind of runs out of breath and delivers the last words of these lines in the most kind of lackluster way, and you can hear him like take a breath at the end of these lines.
I said we Gucci like the shirts with the snakes on. I just heard the song Team 10, now I hate y'all. Test is hideous, and then you went and got a big head like you Phineas.
Because of that, you can hear that those lines really don't have the force that they should. You really want the last words of each line to have some impact, and when you're catching your breath on the last word, takes that impact away. What I'm trying to say is his delivery could really use work on this track. It just sounds really unconfident and kind of rushed. Lyrically, this song isn't too bad and functions decently as a diss track. I like how he said nobody knows Jake Paul's Disney show, because, I mean, like, really, who does know it? Who the fuck has heard of Bizaardvark? I ain't wanna make her wet, then maybe put some rice on it was fairly witty wordplay. And I also like how he referenced Jake Paul's past as a bully, even though Rice's come up is pretty much based entirely on insulting people, mainly kids. But yeah, the disses are decent here, and to me, there's no lines that stand out as particularly dumb. So it is decent in terms of its lyrics, but in terms of how this track actually sounds, I think it's pretty bad. Out of all the RiceGum songs, I don't understand why this one is his most popular, because for me it's sonically his worst. Not to mention Alyssa Violet is just bad in the most amateur way. And then on top of that, the beat is just very simplistic and standard trap. Not really a fan of this one, if I'm being honest.
But I'm flexing, can you get these sheep out my mentions? How can I be mad, bitch? I sleep in a mansion. You look like your sister is the girl that you have sex with.
Okay, so iDubbbz fucks his sister. Okay.
Hey, you got a girl, but I can tell that you a little gay.
Okay, he doesn't fuck his sister. He's gay. Okay.
Is this nerd ever getting pussy shit? I'm guessing not.
Hold up. So, first, he fucks his sister. Then he's gay. Then he doesn't get any pussy at all. What is iDubbbz's sexuality? Can you please make up your mind, RiceGum?
How you gonna support a guy who proudly says the N-word?
If you're saying that, you don't understand the context under which iDubbbz says the N-word. Oh, it would appear he's removed the cringy acapella from the Apple Music version. What a shame. So we're gonna look at this one purely as a diss track at first, from a lyrical standpoint. And as a diss track, this is abysmal, misses the points that iDubbbz made against RiceGum, because this is a diss against iDubbbz, and fails to throw any decent punches at iDubbbz. Again, I'm not too surprised that Rice can't throw any decent punches on this one, you know, 2 grams of muscle mass and all that, but it's really lackluster lyrically. Now, iDubbbz had some nice wordplay in his diss tracks, and insults that actually had a bit of sting to them. So let's look at how RiceGum responded to iDubbbz with some particular lines.
A 30-minute vid, I'm who you're obsessed with.
Okay, so you asked iDubbbz to make the content cop on you. You literally begged him.
I actually I don't really care at all, but I kind of really want him to make one on me, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and then he made the video. So that means he's obsessed with you. And the video was 30 minutes because he just took time to make it well researched in an in-depth video. And it also becomes kind of hypocritical when you look at it now and you see that RiceGum made 4 or 5 videos on iDubbbz about this whole situation. Who does that make look like the obsessed one now?
But I'm flexing, can you get these sheep out my mentions? How can I be mad, bitch? I sleep in a mansion. I'm coming still, bitch, my pockets feel 100 bills. I'm in the hills, bitch, my song just did 100 mil.
One of iDubbbz's points was that you flex too much. So you came back to that by flexing even more? Great logic. A diss track is kind of supposed to diss the other person or disprove the points they made against you, not give them more ammunition.
I remember I was broke, I couldn't dress a lot. Came out from nothing, little bitch, that's why I flex a lot.
Now I actually kind of like this line here. It is a line that kind of seems a little bit like it's an excuse for his flexing, but I think it's very nicely put together, and it actually sounds quite catchy the way that it's structured. It's also quite good because it relates to a lot of people too. I'm sure that, you know, most of the people listening to that track, if they became millionaires, they would surely buy a lot of nice stuff and flex at least a little bit. You know, they post pictures wearing really fancy clothing or whatever. I'm not saying everyone would do it, but most people would do it, and I think it's a good line that actually tries to justify one of the points that iDubbbz made against RiceGum. It was a justification. It was an actual comeback to something that iDubbbz said. So yeah, I did like that line. Compliments to whoever wrote it. So lyrically, this track is actually very weak, probably RiceGum's lyrically weakest track, with only like 2 or 3 nice lines that don't miss the point. But now let's move on to how this track actually sounds. And I can't lie guys, this song actually kind of bumps. I mean, it's very well produced. It's got a bit of a dark sound to it, and the drums really hit hard. And Rice's flow is actually fitted to the drums very well. Lyrically, like I said, this song is garbage, but it's actually one of Rice's catchiest songs in my opinion. The way that a lot of the lines are structured gives them a kind of addictive quality, I guess. I think in terms of purely how it sounds, this is one of his strongest tracks. The only thing holding the sound of this one back a little bit is, again, his congested voice, which doesn't really fit too well with rapping, but that's not really his fault, that's just his natural voice. You know, he's got to make do with what he has, and he actually sounds pretty confident on this track, so I can commend that. He has probably his most confident delivery on here. Overall, I think this song is decent. It's actually pretty strong in some areas, and is kind of replayable. It's just, if you think about it as a diss track, you realize that it completely, the main function of this track completely fails.
Is you naughty or you nice, eh? You know you fucking with Rice, eh? Santa go coming tonight, eh? You might go blind from his lies, eh? Santa go coming tonight, eh? You might go.
Autotune doesn't sound bad with his voice, honestly. I think this is actually the only autotune song he's done, so that's something. This one is pretty interesting, as it's the only autotune singing track that RiceGum has released so far. And I can't lie, guys, as a fun Christmas song, I can actually kind of vibe with this one. As always, Rice's delivery could use some work, but the autotune does do his voice some favors. And come on, guys. You can't deny that the chorus on this thing is pretty catchy. Don't roast me in the comments for saying that. The chorus on this thing is pretty goddamn catchy. However, the verses, or the verse, there is only one verse on here, the verse could use some work. The verse on here has an alright flow. I just don't like how there isn't really too much of a melody to it, because Rice keeps the autotune on for the verses, but it doesn't really do much for him when he's just kind of dragging out his syllables in one tone, instead of like coming up with a new melody for the verses, you know? It just sounds a bit lifeless. I also don't know why he felt the need to diss Jake Paul on a Christmas song, calling him a pussy. It just isn't very festive, is it? Honestly, it's not even very creative either, because the line is just taken from the song Ice Tray by Quavo. Pussy, ad-lib, and all. I don't care if it's a reference to that song, at least put some effort in if you're gonna throw a diss line into your Christmas song. It's got some very beginner level metaphors and similes throughout, but this one I honestly feel is just a lot more about the vibes than anything else. I'd say it's a very average song, but if you look at the hook just on its own, it's a very nice hook, and I hate to say this, but it did get stuck in my head a little bit. Good hook, kinda dull verse. I'd say it's better than It's Every Night Sis, but I definitely prefer the sound of Frick the Police more.
I was broke, but I'm living in the hills now. I was crazy, but this ice made me chill out. Ooh, girl on the track, she sound better than you. Someone diss me, I don't know, I'm like,
hook is okay.
And yeah, I just spent your
At least he's, you know, doing something with his vocals that's a little bit experimental.
When he talks, yeah, my money gets annoying. Hey, juice digger, she's a
Your money isn't the only thing that gets annoying.
Yo, girl, she a stick, she ain't got curves. She a hoe, yeah.
Did you just call someone else a stick, RiceGum? His girl may have no curves, but she has more body mass than you. This one I'm just not a big fan of because it has one of my least favourite beats that Rice has used. It sounds just kind of like a slightly more complex DJ Mustard beat, and it's just not that fun to listen to. Combine a beat that I don't really like with RiceGum constantly delivering his lyrics like he has a cold, and it's just not a fun combination. That's all I can really say about how it sounds, but I would go as far to call this his best written track. I would actually consider this as a good rap song lyrically, and that's a massive compliment when I'm talking about Rice. Or whoever writes for him. There's just so many bars that have fairly good metaphors and punchlines here, and I actually like that I can listen to these lines and respect them. This one is targeted at Tanner Fox and mentions the fact that he's only 17, whilst his most likely, I'll say most likely, so you know, no one gets mad, gold-digging girlfriend is in her 20s, which is something I'm sure we all find a little bit suspect, you know? I mean, the roasts are kind of what you would expect. There's not really any new information dropped here about Tanner Fox, but I think the way it was done was pretty good. And even if you hate RiceGum, you have to admit, verified because of all these checks that I blew, that's a dope bar. So yeah, not badly written at all, which I can appreciate. It's just that sonically, I don't think it's a track I really want to go back to. The beat is below average, and Rice's voice, again, I know he can't control it, but it is a bit of an obstacle for me.
I wanna make friends, I just wanna make M's. My house is a big crib, should I just throw a party here? I wanna hear all the hate is what got me here. Hey, yeah.
Is this a diss track or not? You are not from the fucking trap. This is her for using a ghostwriter. Smoking big doinks? Are you fucking 10?
Oh yeah guys, I'm just gonna go smoke some doinks with the crew.
She a troll, she is not.
Hold up, you want a 14-year-old to come and live in your house? Okay, Rice. Have it your way. Now, before I talk about this song, let me get into this little tangent real quick. Now, I'm not trying to brag for RiceGum, he does that enough himself, but my guy, you are a millionaire. Why the fuck can you not afford decent cover art? I'm not saying anything about how seriously he takes rap right now, but surely if you care about it, you would be able to afford to invest in cover art that doesn't look like shit for your rap songs. This one, it's literally just him, like standing in a recording studio. It's the definition of what a YouTube rapper song cover would look like. So as for the song itself, I guess he just told his ghostwriters, if he has them, to just imitate Drake's style with this song. I mean, it's not like a complete imitation of Drake, but I got heavy Drake vibes from how this one sounded. So this one is a diss track aimed at Danielle Bregoli, and is RiceGum's most recent track. And the fact that I'm saying it's his most recent track kind of confuses me, because the flow is so awkward on here. It sounds so incredibly beginner level on many lines throughout the song. You'll hear him drag out the syllables of certain words to, you know, kind of fit the lines to the beat more, and it just sounds so out of place, and it's a beginner tactic. It gives it a bit of an uneasy feel. I mean, listen to these lines in particular.
Little girl, I don't know what you wanna beef about. You are not what you tweet about. You are just a rat looking girl who Twitter just made a meme about.
Like, I thought you were supposed to improve over time, not regress. Those lines, no offense to RiceGum, but those lines were flowed like a complete novice. Now again, we're obviously going to take a look at the lyrics, because most of these are diss tracks and you kind of have to look at the lyrics if that's what they are. And this one, it does take Rice a while to actually get to the disses. Like, listening to the first minute, you wouldn't even know it's a diss song. But when he gets around to it, this song does have some of his nicest wordplay. Not a huge compliment, as his wordplay is often basic, but I won't discredit the cool lines on here. Came straight out of LV, now LV's on the bag, was a nice brag, and this outfit on me cost a Bitcoin is a line I don't think I've heard anywhere else either, so that was somewhat creative. Also, I could not agree more with the line, how the fuck are you 14 with rumors that you sleep around? That was a good roast there. That was a good roast. I'll give you that one, RiceGum. Honestly, this comes off as one of Rice's stronger diss tracks. It's not amazing, but he actually threw some hard shots on here, even referring to Danielle not being in contact with her dad. Lyrically, it's probably the second best track that we've looked at in this video, but that incredibly awkward flow makes this track so much worse than it should be. There is a cool part on here where Rice uses a bit of auto-tune and does some vocal layering, and that sounds really cool, but that's honestly the most listenable part of the song for me, and it only lasts for 4 bars. Most of the song just sounds meh. It's an alright song, but it's weird to see Rice moving backwards in terms of how confident he sounds and his rapping ability. So, overall, from this whole experience, I have to be honest, I think it makes it look like RiceGum doesn't take rap very seriously. Probably not a very shocking statement there. To me, it just comes across as another platform that he can make money through, because even some of these commercially released songs sound kind of amateurly done. You would think a millionaire could make all of his songs sound incredibly polished, but I guess money can't buy everything. His flow still really isn't on point, and the only song that he sounded passionate on was Frick the Police, which is a shame because lyrically, like I've said, that is his weakest track. I think it is undoubtedly a fact that Rice is a below average rapper, and that's not me saying you can't enjoy his music, because obviously you can, you have every right to, but if we're looking at him just purely from a technical standpoint, as an actual rapper, he's just not that great. I do appreciate the implementation of wordplay into his music, even if a lot of it is rather basic. There were some lines that did leave me impressed, but like I said, overall from what I've heard, it just makes it sound like RiceGum doesn't really fully enjoy making rap music like he should. It just feels like he more enjoys making money over everything. Now, Yes, these songs are definitely an improvement from way back in his YouTube days, where he released diss tracks that were so offbeat, I'm surprised he even decided to put them on the internet.
While you getting tucked in, this the song they playing. You a little munchkin who needs some education. If you got talent, then I'm not Asian.
But he still has a long ass way to go before I even think about actually labeling him as a rapper. So to answer the question, is RiceGum a bad rapper? My honest answer to that would be simply, I do not consider RiceGum as a rapper. Well guys, that's going to be it for the video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. I do apologize for having a cold in this video, you know. I can't really help it, it's just kind of natural. Let me know your thoughts on RiceGum in the comments below. Of course, I would like to thank my twin, CDTV the G, for helping out again here. Kind of weird that he's my twin and also has a channel name that's very similar to mine. But yeah, go subscribe there. He either will have just dropped his reactions to like Cardi B's album, maybe Lil Xan's album, maybe Famous Dex's new album. Either that or they will just about to be dropping. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. I would appreciate if you could follow me on Twitter under the name CDTVProductions. I'll keep you up to date with what videos I'm working on, and you guys might also be able to take part in some polls, which I might include in future videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next one, and this is CDTV Productions, signing out.